Hello. To my first video. I am Jigme, MTG. I play CDH, both in tournaments, but sort of CDH for fun, as oxymoronic as it is. Um, I have been playing this format for about 11 years or so, something like that. It is a format I am fond with, and have no intention on leaving anytime soon. Um, I play in tournaments. I play at my local RGS. I I'm a first and foremost I'm a creature player, or Timmy as I sort of like to call myself. I play this deck. I don't know if you can see it very well on my camera. Hopefully you can, but this is Animar, Soul of Elements. One of the OG commanders in the format. He is a teamer sort of creature value slash storm deck that wishes to reduce the cost on creatures and try and land some sort of haymakers. Um, sort of like Wandering Archaic and Deadeye Navigators and Consecrated Sphinx and cards like that that typically are very hard to allow in the very efficient mana conservative format of CDH. Everything is low CMC, so that get it out your hand and without having to without being too committal. So just let me get my notes up to see what I should talk about. Yep, the sort of player I am. Yeah, like I said, I'm a creature player. I like playing decks that are quite proactive. I've played Turbo, specifically Rograk Silas for Grixis list that seeks to sort of discount spells by having a free commander in Rograk and generating a lot of mana or like shooters such as like Diabolic Intent and like mana like Culling the Weak to sort of have very explosive turns where you can set up one of many different lines, such with like Adnors or Breach or what have you. Um, and then on a similar vein, the Sans White Thrasios Power Smasher lists that want to again just be incredibly quick and go under the radar on around turns two, or try and blow up and just overwhelm your opponents with resources um, very quickly in the term or in the game even. Um, but yeah, that's what I sort of like to do. And then obviously creature stuff as well. Playing Animar has made me quite heavily a creature player, I'd say. I've grown used to sort of dumping my hand as quickly as possible and trying to deploy like proactive creatures that can respond to the board. The sort of deck that Animar is like it can be quite slow first and foremost. Like it's not by no means uh, it's it's been kept up to date, and I think I wholeheartedly think that it's a deck that can keep up, but at times it is slow and it does require the game sometimes to go into the later turns. Your turn three and fours are very powerful, but sometimes shit hits the fan. You know, stack speed hits the board. Your win con gets one of your many win cons get sort of countered or responded to, etc., and sort of just uh that sort of thing is what the deck is trying to do is either storm off or just value opponents with like Conch Sphinx or having like 30 plus creatures, so like survival lines, uh, being harder to interact with because creatures by sort of the nature of counter magic are more hard to hit. But it's overall a very fun deck, I think, and yeah, as you can see on, hopefully you can see I have set it up correctly on OBS. This is the list. It is yeah, it runs about 30 creatures or so, a lot of which are there to again like outvalue you or combo off. We're on about four separate lines, all of which are very sort of toolboxed with your commander or with Imperial Recruiter being at a discount. We've got a statue line, a Baron line with Kinnan, Kiki lines. Um, you've got like what is it? Kiki, Dockside, and Baron are like the main three. Or Kiki, Dockside, and Statue even. Um, but yeah, if you want to take a look, I will put a link in the description of the Moxo list. Any comments, any thoughts? You can also join the Animar Discord, which I'll put in the link from the description down below. But yeah, it's a fun list. Next thing is my experience competitively. So I have been playing again, uh, playing for fun. CDH, you're still playing to win, but playing with your friends, or playing in non-tournament settings, um, for a while. And CDH tournaments haven't really been a thing for a very long time because, firstly, as a format, it's quite. Um, a lot of people would say it's a fake format, and for a while it did feel like that. We weren't getting any recognition from Wizards, and Commander technically isn't a sanctioned thing, so it was very hard for a while to set it up. But fortunately, in recent years, it's become a thing, and I've had a bit of online experience, and my opinion on the matter is that whilst I love doing online events, I'm a bit of a skeptic because the cheating is obviously much easier online than in person because like you can see on my webcam here, uh, like I've got like let's say the camera sort of is the size that you can see. Oh look, I'm gonna put this Sol Ring onto the stack or whatever, right? I mean, I can just pull cards from sort of everywhere. Um, but it's yeah, that's why I'm slightly skeptical of it, and I've sort of moved to on or in person, and I've gone to I wanted to say about 4 or 5 in person events. Um, I would like to imagine I'm a pretty observant person, so I've gathered a lot of information on like the overall meta. We've also got helpful websites in the EDH Top 16 and the decklist database that can help you sort of figure out what people are playing and the popularity of certain decks, and just staying in the community also is helpful in that regard. But I think I haven't placed amazingly in total honesty. Uh, but I'm hoping to get better, and I think I've got a lot of sort of insight to provide on the format, and I play a lot of games anyway, so I think I can provide some sort of context on what I think is healthy and unhealthy for a format, and my opinions on stuff like that. But yeah, I think currently in what 2024 of July of 2024, uh, the format is overall pretty healthy. I We still have some, in my opinion, some issues of homogeny in a lot of sort of in like the Grixis sort of world where or like the Dimir world. Wizards have this obsession with creating Dimir commanders that can just win with ISO Rev, which is like every Dimir commander. Um, and making Grixis just giving Grixis loads and loads of incredibly broken cards. Red and black in the last few years have severely blown up. I remember when Dockside wasn't a card, um, red, there was very little reason to play red, but in recent times it's one of like sort of a crutch color where the effects that it brings are so fundamentally powerful that you're sort of not having it can obviously hurt your deck building. Um, and sort of the fastest Oracle, Orcish Bowmaster, Ristic City World is still very much alive. But I think there's enough decks in the format that do very unique things. Whilst I did just shit on Wizards for printing Dimir commanders, they've also printed a lot of other commanders that open a space of sort of more making Commander about Commander, which uh, I will make it for the record. Um, I would say that I don't mind between the 4 color good stuff piles and like 4 and 5 color and the like 2 color like commander centric ones. I like both. I think they're both good for the format. Which is opinion that I've changed recently. I used to be quite a big hater on partners. Um, but I think they're good for the format. And we've gotten stuff like Nardu and Obnixilis, and a few years ago Winota and Kinnan, and we've got like Stella, and we've got more like Staxy commanders like Elevir and Yashan. I mean, like again, like the turbo ones, like Obnixis and the Rakdos decks, and in the new set, I don't know, I forgot what it's called. We've got a lot of good new 2 and 3 color commander centric decks that are currently being brewed. But I think overall the format is healthy and it is worth exploring. Um, but yeah, next thing. Yeah, so like I said, I think there's some cards that are quite powerful and are worth in sort of homogenizing the format a little bit. Um, I think cards like Orcish Bowmasters are slightly unhealthy because um, the 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 format as a whole has been a very heavy Underworld Breach, Rhystic Study, Fastest Oracle, sort of sort of meta, and cards like Orcish Bowmasters make those step make don't weaken those decks in a meaningful way. I mean, make decks that were already struggling, which were creature heavy decks, struggle even more. Unlike Rhystic Study, unfortunately, Rhystic Study is not a creature and can't be pinged. So you could draw 7 cards, get 7 pings, but you've just you've just ripped a fresh hand, so you don't particularly care. I think uh, cards like that and cards like Oracle and Dockside, probably there's an argument to be made for their bans in the format because they are incredibly powerful and once they hit the stack can just immediately warp the game. But yeah, I think decks that want to play uh, like Ristic and Dockside and like Breach and Adnors and and like Silence effects are all like probably the strongest and might say the strongest depending on how Wizards changes how the format is, which like introduces new cards. Um, and lastly, on my list of things I've said to talk about, the sort of philosophy of 4 players. I've played sparingly um, the constructed formats, mainly Pioneer, a bit of Modern, and a bit of Legacy. Uh, and obviously, Commander is fundamentally different. I think it's for new players. I cannot introduce it more. I think it is incredibly fun to get into. You can play with your friends. Um, like you can experience it all. You can have a lot of fun just trying random decks out and just playing about and having a lot of fun. And there's like loads of different ways you can play Commander. You can do like ban list. You can do rule zero stuff. And I think CDH also is helpful because it teaches you a lot about playing like with obviously you have to respect the other players in your pod, right? It's a format that is predicated uh on being 4 player, like it is fundamentally, obviously, so you have to take that into account. But I think it is a great format to get into. I think CDH has a lot of players that are really willing to help. And whilst there can be times where the community can be toxic, I'm looking at Twitter mainly. I don't think the Discord side of it um, is that toxic. I think the Reddit side can be sort of toxic sometimes, but I think the format is very strong uh, as an introduction for the format. If you've played Commander for a bit already and you wanna ramp it up a bit, but yeah, that's me. If you want to hit me up on Discord, I'll put my name in the comments down below or in the description. I play tournaments. I live in the UK. If you want to talk to me about anything, I'll be uploading videos on like deck list analysis. I will be trying to invite people on like tournament winners to have discussions about uh, what their experience in tournaments is like, what their decks, their opinions on like the top 16 and their lists or their tournaments even, um, and trying to open up the format a bit more so that it's easy to keep track of everything because that's another issue that we'll talk about in a later video. But I'm thankful to be able to do this. So I hope you enjoyed. Again, any questions, leave them in the comments. If I get any, hopefully. But yeah, hope to see you soon.